So when people come to you for diabetes, what is the first thing you check with them regarding sleep?
Yeah. So first things first, we actually ask a bunch of questions. Even before the person starts the consult with us, we have already sent them a pretty detailed questionnaire asking many things about sleep. What time do they go to bed? What time do they normally get up? How many hours of screen time do they have before sleeping? Because none of us is actually waking up and sleeping according to sunrise and sunset. We all have artificial lights and electricity that decides day and night or light and dark. So we ask about that is how much screen time are they having? How much artificial light? What kind of artificial light do they have in their house in the evening time, especially after sunset? We also look at their sleepiness. So are they fresh during the day? Would they maybe fall asleep if there's a boring meeting going on or a boring movie or a boring conversation? Would they just nod and doze off without wanting to? So falling asleep during the day when you didn't want to is a very big symptom for us. That why are you not able to stay awake? And in India, we know people are constantly doing these little hits of cutting chai through the day, this tiny micro hits of sugar, caffeine. It's a stimulus and it wakes them up. A lot of that we suspect is to fight bad quality sleep.
You spoke about devices, right? Whether it's TV, whether it's laptops or phones. A lot of people, and to some extent even I included, we are all looking and staring at our devices and bright light pretty much till we go to sleep. In fact, there are people who say that I need to watch a movie so that I can fall asleep. How does that work?
Actually, it really doesn't work, but we're doing it. Is people will sit in front of a screen till their eyes don't stay open anymore. Now, what is that? If there's a parent who has a newborn child, have you ever seen them take the baby in their arms and take a flashlight and say, go to sleep, and I'll keep poking light till your eyes don't stay open anymore? It sounds like child abuse, right? That's just not a normal way to help someone fall asleep. You give them a dark, quiet, non-stimulating environment so that the brain will start preparing for rest and good deep sleep. Why do adults think that the only way to fall asleep is to be staring at something or staring at a TV till they can't keep their eyes open? It's like dangerous, in fact, that you don't want to be falling asleep while you're doing an activity. So there's a huge paradox. Are you trying to stimulate your brain with the content and stimulate your mind with what you're consuming? Or are you trying to prepare for rest? What do you want the mind to do? And again, the biggest way to know if this is working for you is check how you feel when you wake up. Are you waking up fresh?
Then there's also a set of people who pride themselves for sleeping 5 hours, 4 hours. Is that a good thing? And if not, what's happening with them because of their lack of sleep?
This is such an individual question, right? There might be a small population of people who genetically do fine with 4 or 5 hours of sleep, like these over hyperactive hyperachievers, like super, dynamic, and they're just high energy all day long, and they're not feeling any negative impact of that. That's a very different kind of person. So I think it's always an individual. What might work for this person may not work for the other person. So for me, the biggest way to know the answer is how are they feeling? Do they have the energy levels that they want? Is their body recovering from injuries or illnesses or workouts? Is the recovery coming properly or not? Are they full of pain or pain-free? Are they having the athletic performance? Are they able to do things with their mind, make decisions, achieve, push themselves, deal with stress? All of that comes from background good quality sleep. So if you have all of those, then fine. Maybe you're one of the blessed people who get 4 hours of sleep and remaining 20 hours you get to go be around in the world. Majority of people will say that they feel better once they're close to the 7-hour mark or beyond. But again, see how your body responds to that.
And is there something happening to your blood glucose levels while you're sleeping?
Yes. So you're not eating. So how is your blood glucose staying stable? You don't have to eat to keep your glucose steady through the night. So that's your liver that's helping you. If you remember, we've talked about the 3 musketeers: the liver, the muscle, the pancreas. These 3 organs help maintain glucose levels. So even through your sleep, your brain is active. It's very much energetically, dynamically doing things. It's metabolically on. It's dreaming, it's processing learning, memory. So it is using glucose even in your sleep. How is glucose reaching the brain when you're sleeping? your liver is providing it constantly through the night.
So you mentioned about 7 hours is a good time. Is about approximately for a good sleep. What about sleep quality? How much does it affect your quality of life, the work you do, and for people who have diabetes, their blood glucose levels?
Exactly. So their sleep quantity, which we just talked about, is check for you whether 6 or 7 or 8 hours, how many hours works for you, rather than just blanket, oh, my doctor said 7 hours, or the internet says. Check the quantity that works for you. And then we come to quality. So within quality, yes, screen time use before sleeping affects quality. So instead of trying to have my patients fix their wake up time with an alarm, we actually go backwards and we say, let's fix your bedtime routine. What are you doing at night to prepare for good quality sleep, including the artificial gadgets, a wind down routine. We also look at caffeine intake in the evening post 2 o'clock, because caffeine lasts in the body for about 7 to 9 hours. So your 2 o'clock cup of coffee or tea is likely to be with you till bedtime. So cutting caffeine down as a sleep quality improver, check if that helps you or not. The other big thing to talk about is snoring as a block in good sleep quality.
So what about snoring? Why is snoring affecting your sleep? Because the person who's sleeping, they don't realize that they're snoring.
Exactly. It's usually the person in the bed who has to push them and like kick them and shake them and say, hey, like you're making too much noise. I'm not able to get sleep, right? Because they're happily snoring away. So snoring actually affects the person who's sleeping, and we call that obstructive sleep apnea. So there are some forms of mild snoring that may be harmless and just more of a nuisance to the bed partner, but there could be heavier forms of snoring. And as it gets worse, actually, the sound of snoring may go away, but sleep apnea is still actually much worse. So what is sleep apnea? It used to be something we talk about in an overweight person where the body weight is such, the neck thickness is such, there's fat around the jaw and behind the tongue, in the back of the throat, where your airway is getting narrow. And the same way when someone is sleeping, they're sort of like body is weak and soft, right? They're not stiff and awake and active. So the muscles also in sleep have gotten relaxed, including the muscles of the airway, inside the mouth, in the back of the throat, these neck muscles, your chest muscles also, all they're trying to do is just breathe. But otherwise, everything is becoming as relaxed as possible. This, and your tongue could fall back. This could start choking you. So imagine if someone's coming into your room at night and choking you by the neck from the outside. You would get up immediately and kick them off. Right. But what if your own body is getting choked internally and you're sleeping through it?
So if I'm sleeping through my sleep apnea problem, what's actually happening with my body? Am I not breathing properly? Am I not getting deep sleep? What is actually happening with the body?
Well, definitely both of those. And you're also losing out on your dream sleep or your REM sleep. So rapid eye movement sleep, which is your dream phase of sleep, where you might be chasing the, enemy or running from the enemy, or you're climbing a building, or you're doing some exotic thing in your dreams, right? But your body is limp in the bed. You're just not moving. You're watching this movie and you're in almost like a paralyzed state. Otherwise, imagine that you are like a Superman in your movie and you're doing all that Superman stuff in your bed. That would be pretty dangerous, right? So the way to safely dream is for the brain to keep the dream happening in the brain, in the movie screen up here, while with your eyes closed. And your body is paralyzed so that you don't act the dream out in the bed. So that's your dream sleep. Now, the paralyzed time of your sleep is when this snoring problem can get even worse, because the muscles that should be alert and active are most paralyzed or most, inactivated at that point. So sleep apnea can affect your sleep duration, because you might get up frequently if the choking is waking you up. You might lose your deep sleep, which is when you grow, you repair, physical improvements happen, growth happens. You might lose REM or dream sleep, which is when the brain is learning. It's cross-connecting ideas from today so that I can learn something tomorrow. It is impacting memory. So all of this can affect, and definitely then has all kinds of other effects, whether you call it immunity, injury repair, all kinds of physical effects the next day.